10 rejected pitches on Shark Tank. The sharks have been known to make some considerable investments, but sometimes they reject lucrative deals. Today we count down 10 pitches which were dismissed by the sharks. You'll be shocked to learn how some of the business ideas became successful later on. 10. Xero Shoes. Two entrepreneurs entered the room with the confidence to present their genius idea, Xero Shoes. They described the shoes as lightweight with a thin, flexible barefoot wear. The pitch majored on the fact that bare legs are more convenient for running and walking, but since it's not safe, Xero Shoes protect the feet, but the feet will still feel bare. The shoes were biomechanically identical to being barefoot. Unlike other shoes, Xero Shoes were comfortable and they never smelled. It sounds like a remarkable pitch, right? Well, not for the sharks. Steven and Lena wanted to get $400,000 for 8% equity in Xero Shoes, valuing it at $5 million. The sharks agreed that the value was overpriced considering the product was a string on a piece of rubber. Kevin O'Leary was the only one to offer them a deal, but he cut their valuation down to $800,000 and offered them $400,000 for 50%. Phoenix and his wife declined the offer, and they walked out of the room empty-handed. However, they still ran with their idea of Xero Shoes, and the business has since become very successful. When you think of a salon, you'll only imagine ladies, but men also want to look good and well-groomed. 9. Hammer and Nails. Michael Elliott presented his pitch about a men's pedicure and manicure salon to the sharks. He was aware that men wouldn't want to go to a salon because the environment doesn't appeal to them. So Elliott created Hammer and Nails, and the atmosphere was more manly, with pictures of tools, leather chairs, and a screen where customers would watch sports. He was hoping to get a $200,000 investment for a 20% stake. The sharks were a bit skeptical that men would go to a salon if they rejected the deal. Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, said it would never work. Elliott never gave up on the men. He raised the money on his own, and 5 years later the business was running. However, instead of making it exclusively for nails, he included life-changing benefits of meditation, relaxation, and rejuvenation. The company held a soft opening where customers could come in and test out the services free of charge, and the place was packed to capacity. Unique accessories easily sell because people are naturally attracted to new things in the market. Three brothers decided to test the waters with eye accessories. 8. Proof Eyewear. The brothers, natives of Ontario, Oregon, made their products by focusing on sustainable materials like wood and other biodegradable materials. The idea started in the garage and picked up after a lot of people, including celebrities, purchased the sunglasses. For the brothers, it was an opportunity to create more culture because sunglasses are things we put on our faces, and anyone would want to be excited about something they voluntarily place on their face. They carried samples for the sharks to try out, but unfortunately they walked out of the room without a deal. However, the sole appearance on the show continued to have ripple effects on their business. They started receiving orders for sunglasses as soon as they left the shark's tank. Proof Eyewear has expanded worldwide, and the sunglasses are available in hundreds of physical and online stores. They've continued to launch new designs, including the Meadow, an oversized women's cat eye sunglasses frame. The look is killing it on the sandy beaches all over the globe. The sharks can be challenging to impress, especially if entrepreneurs approach them with a common product. However, two sisters had to try their luck. 7. Liu Liu Bang. Bear Sisters appeared before the sharks with a compelling introduction. They were seeking $150,000 in exchange for 10% equity in their company. Their product, Liu Liu Bang, was a great sauce which could be used on all types of food for a tasty feeling. They carried a well-prepared meal for the sharks, and they all enjoyed the finger-licking food, but not their pitch. The problem was the sauce business was very competitive, and the marketing strategy needed to be creative. The sisters had approached Walmart to pitch their product, and they were already in 170 stores by the time they had appeared on the show. However, they had little sales, and that was a big concern for the sharks. They each gave their reasons why they wouldn't invest in the business. First of all, the packaging was not well done, the product wasn't unique, and it would be hard to sell online because consumers couldn't test it before purchasing the sauce. The next pitch was another hearty meal the sharks enjoyed, but still opted not to invest in the business. 6. Chef Bake Shake. Sean Davis walked into the Shark's Tank optimistic that he'd land a great deal. He prepared finger-licking shrimp burgers for the investors, and they enjoyed the meal, except for Barbara, who's never been a fan of shrimps. Sean was seeking a $200,000 investment from the Sharks for his business. Unfortunately, they decided not to invest in the company, and Sean walked out without a deal. However, other investors who watched the show thought the idea was great. Davis got $500,000 of investment to the company, allowing the shrimp burgers to spread to more than 22,000 grocery stores nationwide and causing sales to jump to the millions. Sean Davis kept in touch with two of the Sharks, and their advice helped to scale his business to greater heights. As much as the Sharks can't verbally accept, the idea was a delicious flop on their part. Davis returned on season 3 of Shark Tank in a featured update. He'd been described as one of the fastest growing and most successful entrepreneurs ever seen on the show. We agree that times have changed and gender roles have changed as well. But are men ready to carry bags around like ladies? Let's find out if a young entrepreneur could convince the Sharks. 5. Man Pack. Aaron was seeking $200,000 for 29% stake in his company, Man Pack. For many years, men have only been carrying around wallets, but Aaron believed that there were other essentials that men needed to carry in bigger bags. He designed a bag that could accommodate all the essentials, and men could carry the bags in 3 different ways conveniently. The Sharks loved the presentation because it was elaborate and convincing. However, they were not sold, especially because in America, not so many men prefer carrying bags around. They all agreed that Aaron was a great salesperson, but the product he was marketing wasn't good enough for them. The Sharks couldn't find anything unique with the bags, and the sales were already not great. For those reasons, they were all out. It's probably not a good idea to drop out of school, but if someone decides to drop out, they better have a genius idea, like Bill Gates. 4. Savvy. Disha started with a lot of confidence, but she slowly got nervous. Luckily, the Sharks were in a great mood, and they encouraged her to continue with her pitch. Savvy was seeking $100,000 in exchange for 10% equity in her company. Online shopping barely gives customers the room to bargain, but with Savvy, a customer could set a price that they were willing to pay for the products. Savvy would then email the customer if the products were discounted. The Sharks seemed impressed with the pitch until Disha gave them her background story. Disha deferred an opportunity at the university to start a business, which she later let go of because it wasn't lucrative. The Sharks agreed that Disha had a long way to go in terms of business and life. Lori was willing to give her a listening ear and asked how much Savvy had sold. Within 1 year, it had sold nothing. All the Sharks opted out of the deal, and Disha wasn't so happy about their decision. She said that the Sharks missed out on a big opportunity, and she didn't need them. What? A pitch can be fascinating and fun to watch, but if the business isn't promising, the Sharks still reject the business idea. 3. Bubble Soccer. John Anthony had the perfect approach to revolutionize sports, not just in America, but in the world. The pitch for the National Association of Bubble Soccer delighted the Sharks. They laughed and enjoyed as the 4 players battled it out. Mark Cuban, Damon John, and Robert Herjavec wore the suits and tried out the sport. After all the fun and laughter, it was time to get down to business. John was seeking an investment of $160,000 in exchange for 10% equity stake in his business. The first challenge was the game was fun, but no one would consider it a serious soccer game. John explains that there was the private event side, where people just wanted to get in the bubbles and bounce off of each other. And there was the tournament and league side, where people got serious. John focused on different aspects of the business and confused the Sharks with his explanations. He also couldn't give straight answers to their questions. Ultimately, they all opted out of the business, and John walked out of the tank without a deal. The next pitch on the show is a pitch that the Sharks regret rejecting. The CEO went from pitching a product to becoming a shark in the tank. 2. Doorbot. Jamie Siminoff presented a Wi-Fi-enabled doorbell that allowed you to see video of and talk to people as they arrive at your front door. While other products were advancing in technology, doorbells remained the same for many years, until Jamie's brilliant idea. He was seeking $700,000 for 10% equity of the company. The Sharks weren't convinced that the Doorbot was a worthy investment. All but Kevin O'Leary passed, and he made what Siminoff considered an unacceptable offer. Although they didn't invest, publicity from the episode helped to catapult the company out of its financial woes, since 8 people working in a garage were almost out of a job due to low sales. 4 years down the line, the Sharks wish they'd invested in the business. The product was rebranded as Ring, and it offers a suite of connective home security products. It's sold in over 16,000 stores and is valued at a whopping $1 billion. A great attitude may go a long way in landing a great deal from the Sharks. The next entrepreneur would have landed a deal if he was a Politter. 1. Copa de Vino. James Martin presented his pitch to the Shark Tank, a product which specializes in wine by the glass. He asked the Sharks for $600,000 in exchange for 30% of his business to help create more inventory. The Sharks agreed that the monopoly of the company would reap high profits if James licensed it to others. O'Leary wanted Martin to separate the patent for the Copa de Vino container from the wine itself so he could focus on licensing the container's technology to other winemakers. However, James did not want to split the company and believed it was more profitable as one firm because of the high subjective value he placed on his brand. He walked out empty-handed. 1 year later, James returned to the show claiming that he was willing to give the Sharks a second chance. He had made a lot of sales, but his arrogance was still the same. Even though Martin walked away, again, without any of the Sharks' investment, the chance to promote his product on national television twice had contributed to huge payoffs, and he got other people who invested in his wine. Thanks for watching, and have an excellent day.